Hello everyone. On August the 27th, Mars is leaving Virgo and entering Libra, and it will be there until the 12th of October, so approximately 6 weeks, for 6 weeks. And I'm sure you're going to read a lot of stuff on Libra Mars, how bad it is, how horrible it is, because it is in exile, it is in its detriment, it's not going to work properly, it is a cowardly Mars, the native is not able to work for his own will or for his own benefit, which is all true. And actually, if you look at it from a traditional viewpoint, it's very, very true that those planets that are in their detriment are not functioning the way they should function. And it's very simple if you understand why. When you look at a planet in its own sign, okay, the opposite sign is its detriment. And if you look at nature and look at opposite months and look around what's happening in nature and in temperature wise, or in outside, let's put it this way, then you will realize that they are immediate opposites. They are exact immediate opposites. So obviously, if I function very well here, I won't be able to function on the opposite side. But in karmic astrology, we look at this phenomenon a little bit differently. What we say is true. If you have a planet which is in its own sign, it's very strong, and you will be able to utilize this particular planet all through your life for yourself, for your own benefit. But if you have a planet in exile, in its detriment, then you may utilize this particular celestial object for the sake of others, for the benefit of others. That is how it can function beautifully and properly if you understand that it's not for you, it is for someone else. And with Mars, it is diplomacy. If you look at Winston Churchill, who was a genius in many, many ways, he had Mars in Libra, and of course he was a brilliant diplomat. He was I think the only member of parliament or parliament member who won in 3 different parties. And of course, we Hungarians don't really like him because he pushed us into the open arms of Stalin. So now, my dear English fellow men, if you start scolding us for us loving Putin, it is first of all not true, and second, believe me, you have a lot to answer for, because had you not pushed us into in the arms of Stalin, we would have become a Western country much earlier. So anyhow, but let's take a look at the space-time moment for London, and let's hope I can find my document. Here it is, and the title is not Mars in Libra, of course, but Mars on the Super Galactic Centre, because by actually moving into Libra, Mars is going to be aligned with the Super Galactic Centre, which is the Virgo cluster. Is also called the Virgo cluster, or M87, Messier object 87, and in karmic astrology is one of the key celestial areas. And those key celestial areas all describes different karmic dilemmas. This one describes the dilemma of nothing is ever enough. So that it starts with this particular energy. And Mars, as I said, will be in Libra until October 12th, so it's approximately 6 weeks. So it is a little bit faster than average. It's about 42 minutes of an arc. It's daily travel. As you can see in the London chart, Mars is spot on the midheaven. So this type of diplomacy for the future is very telling in the London chart. There's also a Sun trans-Pluto conjunction, which is opposite Saturn. We are going to look at it in a minute. There's still the Vesta Astrea conjunction, focus on karma breaking, and also the North Node Aries conjunction, which we are going to tackle once it's becoming exact. It's still a couple of weeks away. And then Neptune is on the IC, so there's a Mars Neptune opposition as well. And Mercury now has reached Pallas Athena, actually, because Mercury is retrograde. It means that they are separating, actually, and they are both are conjunct the dark moon Lilith, which is the second installment, the second turning point in the Lilith myth, and it denotes the behavior pattern of, okay, I will do whatever I damn well please, and I don't care even if you curse me. And so that's the way to do it. Mercury in retrograde means that you find answers within. And Pallas Athena, of course, is the wiser wisdom. And if you look back in these past couple of days, a lot has happened. As I told you in one or two of the previous videos, the astrological occurrences or phenomena that happened on August 22nd, 23rd, and 24th are by themselves separately not such big deals because they occur many times. But together, they really created a very interesting energy pattern. And just to name you a number of things, Trump decided to turn himself in. So that's going to be interesting. The BRICS countries had a summit in Johannesburg. There's a separate video on this. You might want to see it and understand what BRICS is. And by the way, ever since it came to light that, yes, a couple of other countries are joining BRICS. So there's going to be at least 10 different countries now together, which is a formidable power against what we call the Western bloc. This bloc, the BRICS bloc, is also called the Global South, which is a very interesting title, let's put it this way. Then the idiots in the United States again demand mask wearing, mask mandates. They just, I hope you guys are going to be out of this, and it's ridiculous. I have a couple of friends who had 3 boosters and already had like 4 or 5 times they contacted COVID. And of course, what they say is, yeah, but I was very sick. Yes, I was really, really sick. But what if I didn't have the booster? I may have died. And you know what? I'm not going to tell you anything. Do what you want. Do what you feel right. No one has the right to tell you what you should do with your body. My body, my choice. Remember the slogan? This should be true in this case as well. So do what feels comfortable for you. If you want 10 boosters, have 10 boosters. If you don't want a single shot, then don't have a single shot. By the way, those who avoided the shot, the jab, are called pure bloods. Think about that. So anyhow, that is happening. So what else was there? Oh, Prigozhin got shot down. Of course, exactly 2 months after his big revolt against Putin, he got shot down. Yes. So those were the, and of course, from a Hungarian viewpoint, Tucker Carlson came to Hungary and gave a wonderful speech. And I'm so glad he's here again. Anyhow, so those were the happenings here. And we can, of course, pay attention to what else is going on. And in this particular chart, you have this very interesting planetary picture, which we are going to tackle in a second, once I find my drawing. Here it is. There is a fixed T-square still, Venus, Jupiter, and Hygeia, but this T-square is dissolved by the moon. So actually the energy pattern is lightened, although again, the moon in Capricorn is in its detriment. And as I said, when you have planets in detriment, the best way to utilize them is to utilize them for others, to put them into the service of others. The problem is that with the moon, it's very, very difficult. For some reason, I have a lot of Capricorn moon persons around me in my life, in my family. And what I see is it's much easier for women to do that. Women are willing to serve. And the Capricorn moon in a woman's chart usually means that she's hardworking, she is willing to serve, she's willing to persevere. But in a man's chart, is not very easy. A Capricorn moon is a very hard cookie. He is he has usually it's just okay. I'm not going to give you adjectives because I don't want to hurt anyone. But it's not easy to have a Capricorn moon for a man. Okay, let's take a look at the transcendental objects, which I just put here. No, there are not too many, so it was easier to put it this way. On the moon, you have Paracelsus, a polymath. Knowing everything is important in this space-time moment. On Venus, you have Hecate, Antigone, Apophis, Diomedes, and Kohab. Kohab is the beta star of Ursa Minor, the little bear, and the two bears are linked to the goddess energy. And of course, at the same time, they are a circumpolar constellation, so they are always up there. You can watch them. Hecate is the dark moon goddess. Antigone is one of the so-called hubris asteroids. Hubris means revolt against the gods, revolt against the injustice of gods that are pushing things upon you and you don't want to do it. But the Antigone is an interesting figure because she actually wants to uphold the law of the gods, divine law, against human law. So that's a very interesting twist in the hubris energy. And then Apophis is the snake that swallows the sun in Egyptian mythology. So it's disaster. And Diomedes is a Thracian king. And this was one of the harshest tribes in Ithaca, in the Greek mountains. And he had man-eating horses. There's another Diomedes who featured in the Trojan War. So both are a hero, the strong hero, the brave hero, the ruthless hero archetype. That's on Venus, retrograde Venus in Leo. And then on Jupiter, you still have Albion, Almach, and Menkar. I spoke about these many times. Albion is dissection creation, but this dissection is by yourself. It's by your own choice. Almach is Alpha Andromeda, and Menkar is Alpha Cetus. Alpha Andromeda is linked to the feminine energy, and Alpha Cetus, the celestial veil, the stair of the celestial veil, is whatever is coming up from the subconscious is coming to light. So these are the transcendental objects. And there is this very loose planetary picture, which I added because I wanted to show you that sometimes you can give a little bit bigger orb. In this case, you see the moon is making a bisectile with the midheaven and Mars. A bisectile is approximately 103 degrees. It's twice the septile, which is 51 degrees and 27 minutes. You get this number when you divide the circle by 7. And this is linked to mysticism. So it's like a mystical, shedding mystical light on the future and on this Mars at the Super Galactic Centre. There's also this fixed Earth engine involving the Moon, Jupiter, and Venus. And there's also this triangle. It's a tense triangle, a square, a sesquiquadrate, and a semiquadrate between Mars, Venus, and Jupiter. If we go further and if we add some other celestial objects to the picture, you still have the ones that I just showed you. But here's what you can see. There is this free-floating opposition of Sun trans Pluto opposite Saturn. And if you pay attention, yes, it is kind of dissolved because, so it's not really truly free-floating. We call an opposition free-floating when it has nothing that is dissolving it. But here you have a tridecile and a quintile. But these are so-called minor aspects, and they are not doing truly anything. So, and the quintile series, the septile series, the novile series, they are not really doing anything. They are mystical or ingenious or transcendental or aspects of, or when you get them when you divide the circle by 5, by 7, by 9, and then you get new aspect patterns. But they don't have energy in them. Nothing really moves. Here, admittedly, you have a tridecile between the Sun and Jupiter, which is the tridecile is ingeniousness that is manifesting through altered states of consciousness, which you may. I'm almost sure you had this. You are either smoking a joint or drinking something, and you're discussing something with your friends or with your loved one, and all of a sudden you have these bright ideas. And unless you write them down or unless you record them, they are going to fly away. So that's the tridecile. That and of course the Sun Jupiter aspects are always great because that is personal luck involved. The Moon Mars biseptile is about how strongly you can manifest your own soul. The Moon Saturn septile is about how you can persevere in your own soul energy. The Moon Neptune quintile is clairaudience. Your inner voice is nice and loud. And the Jupiter Saturn quintile, again 72 degrees, is the balance. Is ingenious balance. How you create ingenious balance. Yeah, there's this fixed Earth engine again, and there's also a tensely dissolved opposition. The Mars Neptune is dissolved by Venus, and the Venus Mars 45 degrees semi-square is the tension between feminine and masculine. And as I said, the Mars Neptune is the Queen Don Quixote aspect. When you are actually Mars Neptune aspects are always the Grail Lord, the Grail Knight. But if it's an opposition or a square, it's the Don Quixote energy, because they are simply not working properly. And then the two retrograde planets here, Venus and Neptune, describe some sort of tension between ordinary love and divine love. Yep. Okay, hold on. Okay, and then there's another funny pattern here. A biquintile arrow. It's made by two biquintile and the connecting quintile, and this is the Saturn Jupiter quintile, which is balanced to create balance. And you have Lilith at the apex of, and Lilith is the first installment, the first turning point of the Lilith myths, when Lilith doesn't want to be below Adam, and so she revolts against the injustice of Yahweh. So Lilith is a fighting archetype, a revolting archetype, and this quintile, quintile arrow, sorry, describes to me what will happen with Mars in Libra. You will see that the warheads, these militant, the whole military industrial complex will somehow be subdued. This is how I feel. People will come to their senses. People will suddenly realize that what are we fighting for? Who are we fighting against? Why are we doing this? What is this, our war? No, it's not. I mean, just because mainstream media wants you to believe that Zelensky is a hero and the Ukrainian people are heroes, the story is much longer. Remember, truth becomes true depending on where you start the story. Okay, and if you go back to 2008, as long as 2008, and you look at the events occurring there, and especially in 2014, okay, then you will understand what's happening. And no, this is not a noble war. This is a horrible war. Okay, this should be stopped. And with the American election coming around the corner, you will see that the Americans will try to push upon us Europeans the whole burden of this war. And if we are stupid enough, we Europeans, we will carry it. If not, and this is the aspect configuration which I'm hoping is going to save us, because Lilith is revolt against injustice. This is a totally unjustful situation that I should pay for something that is actually horrible, because that's what we are doing now. And at the same time, the Jupiter-Saturn aspect is always about proper balance, and the quintile gives you ingenious balance if you pay attention. So that is Mars in Libra, and let's pay attention to the news, what's happening outside there. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.